Hello everyone, we are here for a pets and oils class, and we have the best expert you can imagine, Petrea Meier, who's going to be teaching this class. And just so you can see our fellow participants, say hi guys.
Hi.
And I'll be sitting at the table taking copious notes because who is this with us?
This is Meier. He's a 9-year-old boxer, and he's ready to help us today.
Aw, all right, you take it away, Petrea.
All right, so glad you guys are here today. We're going to cover essential oils in pets. We're going to go over some safety information, as well as some recipes and things to take care of our animals. Many of you use essential oils for your wellness. Have you used oils before? Okay. Well, we naturally want to share these with people that we love, and our pets are those that we love as well. We're going to talk about why we use them, how we use them, all those things. If you want more information on anything specific, we're going to have all kinds of resources for you at the end of class. So what are essential oils? They're natural aromatic compounds that come from parts of plants, roots, stems, flowers, seeds, and they are very potent and powerful and give us lots of emotional and physical uses to support us. We use them because they're effective, so they actually can do the job very easily and work with our cellular structure. Same with our animals. They are safe. There aren't side effects like there are with a lot of medications, as long as we're using the proper oils, and we'll talk about that tonight with pets. And they're affordable. They're pennies per drop. In one of these bottles, there's 250 drops or 250 doses, and we're using a drop or two at a time, so they go really far. With these oils, we're going to talk about pets. I have to get specific on quality matters. Not all essential oils are created equal. Anyone can say they are 100%, even if they're not. The FDA does not regulate them. doTERRA goes above and beyond to prove every single batch of essential oil is 100% pure 100% of the time. Every oil is tested 54 times from the time it's harvested till the time it reaches you or your pets. When we're talking about pets, it becomes critical, not just important. It's important for our health that we're using pure oils. Yes, if we used some oil that was not 100% pure, would we die the first time? Hopefully not. With animals, you cannot cut corners. You cannot go to the health food store and buy some health food brand oil and use it on your pet. It is very dangerous if there is any adulteration. So if you're using doTERRA, everything's safe, good, and you're tested and trusted. When we're using oils with our pets, we like to do what I call a presentation. So it's literally, I don't know if we can see Jaeger here. I think we can. It's literally taking a bottle of oil, closed, and presenting it. You're going to see how the animal responds. Sometimes they will run away and act like they don't like it. If that's the case, it doesn't mean you can't use it with them. It might not be one of their favorites. The next step I would do is I would take the oil and I would put a drop in my hand and I would rub it around, kind of let it dissipate some. And I would just hold it up and see how he responded.
And notice how she's not right up in his face at the beginning. She lets him approach her.
This is his favorite. He loves the furs, everything. White fur, Siberian fur, Douglas fir. He loves all the trees. Frankincense is one of his favorites. But by presenting that, you give him a chance to experience it without putting it on him right away. If he was really averse to it, I would not be using it to calm him down if he was like, freaking out and running away, right? So giving him that presentation is important. Same with cats.
And if they do run away?
If they do run away, number one, okay, maybe they don't like it. But number two, there are instances in an emergency situation where the animal might need something they really don't like. There are situations where you might have to use it for some medical use. Let's say the dog was cut and you wanted to use helichrysum and the dog didn't really like helichrysum. I would still use it because it would have a bigger medicinal need than the happiness of what your dog is smelling. I mean, your dog smells all kinds of things. So it's not the end of the world. But when we're using oils, aromatic is like one of the best ways to get oils into the air and into our pets for support. I've got a diffuser going back there. That's the new Brevi. It runs for 10 hours. The lights change colors. I love it. It's super compact. Any diffuser is great. Now, when you have a diffusing situation, you're going to make sure that the animal has clear space to move away to. So I would never lock him or a cat into a small bedroom and with a diffuser and make them stay there, okay? You want them to be able to move away if they want. I run a diffuser in my bedroom every night. Our bedroom is fairly large. No problems. He can leave if he wants, but I never want to lock him like in the laundry room with a diffuser going with no choice, right? Especially important for cats that you give them that space. Cats are particular, right? They're kind of their own little individuals and often are wanting to do their own thing. If you give them that space, they will use it as needed. Now, besides using them in a diffuser, we can use a spray and spray it into the air like a room spray. We can put a drop on our hands for the pet to smell, just like I did.
How many drops do you put in that spray bottle, and how big is it?
This is a 2-ounce spray bottle, and in here for aromatic purposes, I would say probably 4 to 10 drops, maybe total. If you were doing like a mixture of 2 different oils, maybe 2 of one and 2 of another, probably 4 to 10 drops in a 2-ounce bottle. Yes. So, any other questions on diffusing? No? Okay.
Is there anything you should stay away from? Or are you going to get
There is. We'll get to that in just a minute on oils to avoid. Topically, so the most important thing I can say is dilute, 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 dilute. Now, when we do dilution, we use a carrier oil, coconut oil, jojoba oil, almond oil, grapeseed oil. There's all these natural oils that we can use. I love coconut oil. It's inexpensive, it's readily available, it absorbs well, and mixes well with the essential oils. doTERRA's coconut oil does not go rancid. It has a shelf life that is indefinite. So that's really nice to use. Now, when I say dilution, you think cooking dilution makes it weaker, right? Not with essential oils. When we dilute for ourselves, dilution does about 4 different things. 1, it holds it on the skin longer so it has more time to absorb and be more effective. It also prevents any skin sensitivity. It also allows us to cover a very large area because we could have some coconut oil, a drop or 2 of essential oils, and cover our whole arm. I would never take 20 drops and put it all over, okay? It also helps our oils go further, okay? If you're just dumping drops of lavender on stuff, you know, on your dog, that would be too powerful. And it also wouldn't be as effective because you're not getting that absorption, you're not getting the skin sensitivity preventative, as well as covering a large area. So, when we're talking dilution for dogs, there is on your sheet here, dilution is about a 1% dilution rate. What does that mean? 1 drop per teaspoon of carrier oil. Now, for larger dogs, you can use up to a 2% dilution rate. Jaeger is what I would consider a larger dog. He weighs 85 pounds. He's bigger. I would say that's 1 drop in a half teaspoon of carrier oil. Now, you can measure that out. You can measure out a teaspoon, add your essential oil. I'm going to give you a recommendation. Do yourself a favor and get one of these pumps. doTERRA sells these little pumps that go right on top of their bottle. You can buy these in a bigger, if you don't want to buy doTERRA's coconut oil and you're filling other coconut oil, you can get in the soap section of Hobby Lobby a skinny-headed pump. The skinny head is important because if you're making rollers, it makes it way easier. But just taking this, measure out a teaspoon and see how many pumps it takes. So I know for Jaeger, for a half a teaspoon, 2 pumps gets me a half a teaspoon. I just know by my pump, that's how much, and I can kind of see how much it puddles in my hand, and I just learn. Once I've done that, I will take my essential oils and apply them. Now, I'm going to show you a couple ways here. I'm just going to take it in my hands and rub it around. I don't know if, Christy, if you can get the camera.
Yeah.
Get your stand. All right, so I'm going to take this. I could do up the spine, easy. In a reverse motion, okay? Going up the spine line. I also can take the back paw pads and massage that into the back paw pads.
And will you show up the spine again?
Yeah, up the
I feel like I
spine. We
didn't
just
have
go
a
up
great-
the spine, we're in reverse, opposite pattern of the hair. It helps it get in between the hair and into the skin.
He loves it. It's so adorable.
This is him's favorite. And frankincense. Him love a frankincense.
And what does the frankincense do?
It is good for cellular health. It's good for skin. It's also good for mood balancing. So it's great for anxious feelings. And it can really calm him down. He mostly just loves it, I think, for the cellular support. A lot of times we love what we need. Oils that we really, really love are often oils we need. Boxers typically have a lot of lumpy cells in their body. Let's be compliant here. And this is very supportive for healthy cells in the body. And so I think he kind of senses that he needs cellular support. Now, when we're doing cats, the dilution rate is even bigger. So instead of being a 1%, it's a 0.01 to 0.5 dilution rate. So that's like 2 to 10 drops or 2 to 10 teaspoons of carrier oil. Now, when you're doing bigger things like that, if you're going to be using it often, get yourself a little jelly jar, or a little glass bowl. We want to store them in glass or stainless, or even plastic is okay if it's HTPE2. You know how they have the little triangle on the bottom? Type 2 plastic is safe with essential oils as well. Put it in a little bowl, that way you can dip your fingers in, because you're never going to be able to hold, 2 to 10 teaspoons of carrier oil and essential oils, and you wouldn't use that much anyway. So make yourself up a little bowl for your mixtures. Now horses, we can put them on directly. Dilution is a great idea. Dilution for everybody is a great idea. It's safe all around. We'll talk a little bit about internal in a second. But first of all, for application, not only can you use them on your hands and pet along the spine in reverse, you can massage your pet in circular motions. We'll let you go. Paw pads, the rear paw pads are where the reflexology points are. And I have a reflexology chart that we can post. I think it will probably be backward in the camera. It's totally backwards. They're not going to be able to read it.
Okay.
But we'll post that. You can also apply it to the tips of the ears. Now, Jaeger is not what I would consider a typical long-eared dog, but he does shake his head a lot, and his ears do get near his eyes. So any long-tipped eared dogs, I would not apply oils to the ends of their ears because they might get it in their eyes. Same as humans, we're not going to get oils in the eyes, we're not going to put oils in the ears. If I was supporting an ear issue for him, I would be applying it on the back of his ear, along his side of his neck, versus, in the ear itself, okay? You can put some here. I just don't ever like to take the chance of getting it inside of any body canal. Other thing is applying it to areas of interest. He's got a sore knee, rubbing something on his knee. Adding it to their shampoo. Jaeger loves a bath. His favorite thing to do is take a bath. He loves soap. He would pick soap over a steak any day. I know that's kind of odd. And so we add some essential oils to his shampoo. Number one, it makes his hair really fine and soft and clean, and I'll share some recipes about that in a little bit. I don't use rollers with dogs. Now, I do have rollers that, like my rose oil is in a roller, and when I want to use that on him, I just apply it to my hand and then apply it to him. If I'm trying to roll it on him, rollers and fur just are awkward with dogs and cats. It doesn't really, it gets caught up in there. You wouldn't want a bunch of dog hair in your roller. I mean, I guess you could. To me, it just doesn't really make it easy. And then if any pet ever had like an adverse reaction to something, our first instinct is always what? Wash it out, okay? washing it out can be an option with animals with soap and water, but carrier oil would be my first grab. I would grab more coconut oil, olive oil, some kind of oil to flush that, and that's the same with humans. Believe it or not, water will a lot of times drive it further in, where oil will help flush it and take it away from the skin. Balance is one of our magic oils. Balance is our grounding blend. This is one for pets that is a magic application in the fact that it can help intensify whatever protocol you're doing. So instance, you're doing something for a sore back, back end, hips. Putting on some balance first and then applying maybe some of your lemongrass or frankincense or turmeric or whatever you're going to use. And we'll talk more specifics on what oils for what. The third way we use oils is internally. Now, doTERRA has awesome oils that a lot of these can be used internally. I'm going to try to find one here. On the side of the bottle, there are supplement facts, and that is how we know that we can use an oil internally if it has supplement facts. If those supplement facts aren't there, we don't use it internally. Pretty simple. With animals and oils, we use 1 to 2 drops. We can put them in a capsule. If your dog's a pill swallower, you can do that in a veggie cap. Those empty carrier veggie caps. I would add some olive oil to that veggie cap for internal application of the oils. My favorite way, mixed with food. I just take a little coconut oil, put the essential oils in, mix it in the food. I mean, he eats dry kibble. You can do that in moist food. You can put a drop in their water. Typically when you're doing water, it's 1 drop per 2 cups of drinking water. You can also take some on your fingers. So if you had a gum issue, myrrh is really good for gums, good for skin stuff. You could take some on your finger until it was like almost dry, and then just rub your finger along the dog's, jawline in here, to soothe. Ooh, slobber. Sorry.
She just rubbed her finger along the jawline.
And that is something that we have used for him because he has a lot of overgrowth of his gums. Because he's a boxer, they typically lose their teeth. So he actually, he doesn't bite because not only does he not, he's a good dog, but he doesn't have any teeth really. So it's preventative. So internally, we want to be careful. Now, reason I say careful, there are some doTERRA products that you never, ever, ever want your dog to get a hold of. That means you put them on the counter where they're safe, you put them in a drawer where they're safe, you open them up over a sink. Those things are beadlets, the little tiny beadlets, which I probably don't have out here. They're tiny, tiny, tiny little drops. It's 1/4 drop of oil in a little beadlet. Those have xylitol in the coating. Xylitol is highly poisonous to cats and dogs, okay? So never use beadlets, never use doTERRA toothpaste, never use doTERRA mouthwash, the Slim and Sassy gum, our Digest tabs, the calcium carbonated with Digest Zen on them, PB Assist Junior, the little packets, the little sachets. Those are things that have xylitol in them that you do not want to use with pets. Hopefully they'll find another solution that we can get rid of those, but in the meantime, just use caution. Oh, she has some beadlets right here. So these are our beadlets, and they are a little teeny 1/4 drop of oil. Now, I'm watching this very carefully because I don't want to drop any. Now, I will tell you a little tip. See how tiny it is? It's really little. If you ever drop one, a flashlight, they are reflective. So they will reflect in the light. Believe me, I've dropped one and been all over my kitchen floor looking for it. So, oils, top oils for dogs and cats. Let's talk about a little bit about what oils to use. Now, what animals, we didn't talk about this at the beginning, I should have asked. What does everybody have? Do you have any animals?
Yes, I have a Bichon Poodle mix.
Okay.
He's 12 years old. He's starting to have heart problems.
Okay.
his heart rate used to be at an 8. Now it's going down to 6.
Okay.
He's not in heart failure yet. I think I'm hoping he has a long way to go before that starts happening.
Okay.
But other than that, he's a healthy dog. He acts like he's a puppy still.
Great.
So I'm loving it.
Good. How about you, Carla?
I have a Yorkie poo.
Yorkie poo, little tiny, right?
Yeah, 9 pounds.
Oh, like that's kind of normal, medium, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. How old?
He'll be 9 in December.
Okay.
A month from today, in fact. And he suffers from severe anxiety.
Anxiety. Okay, we're gonna cover that for sure. Christy, do you have any animals?
Does a husband count?
We can have some husband oils in here, I think.
And a fish.
And a fish. I don't, as of right now, I'm not an expert on fish. However, my friend Tracy does have some fish information for her fish tank. And there are oils that can actually support your fish. So
Really?
I can get you some more information on that.
I have, my dog is a Chihuahua Terrier mix.
Chihuahua Terrier. Little.
She's 14, 15 pounds.
Okay. And how old?
4.
Okay. 4. Pretty young.
Yeah.
All right. Any health issues?
She has allergies.
Allergies. Okay.
Severe allergies.
We'll talk about allergies.
I have a much, looks like a black lab. She will be 10 next month. She weighs 85 pounds, and she has anxiety, like when it rains or leaves hit windows. And then actually the past few days she's been like gnawing on her paws like crazy. So she suffers from allergies.
I was gonna say, is that an allergy from the leaves and the grass, the mold?
Either that or those treats that I told, the
Oh.
bacon
Oh.
coconut treats. I don't know if she's allergic to.
That maybe that might
something
have
there.
caused some of it.
Maybe the coconut.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
I would try, if you're using coconut oil on your dog and you think there might be something to do with that coconut treat you gave her, I would go slow or use olive oil or a different nut
That's
oil.
a good, yeah.
So just be aware of that.
Where do I start?
Judy has a lot.
We have 2 Shelties. One is 14, the other one is 4. We have 2 cats that are barn cats that like to bring me strange gifts that they find in the barn. And we have 2 horses and a pony, and a whole bunch of chickens and ducks. So,
Lots of animals.
yeah.
Lots of animals. And my good friend Kim, who was going to be here tonight, had a little emergency arise. She also uses a lot with her animals, and she has everything from chickens, goats, geese.
Noah's Ark.
Noah's Ark. She is Noah's Ark. So, top oils for dogs. Let's kind of talk this through. Number 1, your frankincense is friendly for horses, for cats, and for dogs. When in doubt, pull out the frankincense. That's right. Pull out the frankincense. Frankincense, when in doubt, can be used for so many wide range body systems. It's a great go-to whether you're dealing with an injury, cellular support. It can amp up any oils it's put with. So that's a really great choice for animals and humans. Lavender. So when you're talking about anxiety, lavender can be calming, right? Lavender is also good for skin. And lavender is also part of a recipe that I have for seasonal threats. So the seasonal threats recipe would be to take a 2-ounce spray bottle, and now you can obviously pare this down if your spray bottle is smaller. And it would be 10 drops of lavender, 10 drops of lemon, which you would omit if it was a cat, and 5 drops of frankincense and 5 drops of peppermint, which you would omit for a cat. So a cat would be just lavender and frankincense. A dog would be lavender, lemon, frankincense, and peppermint. And you would spray this on. Now I would recommend spraying this on the paw pads, on the bottom of the back feet, also along that spine line. You can also use lemon, lavender, and peppermint for dogs internally on food, just like for humans for allergies as well. Cats, we're going to talk a little bit about them. They're a little more particular on the things that we use on them.
In the spray bottle, do you use like,
I would use
cheese or
carrier
vodka?
oil.
Oh, use the oil in the spray
I would
bottle?
use a carrier oil, yep.
Okay, okay.
You could put a little water in there to make it thinner, but I would put mostly fractionated coconut oil.
Okay.
And a lot of these recipes that you're reading, some of them are on the back page of your sheet as well. And I can get all these recipes to you guys also. So, okay, helichrysum. This is a cellular health, a vitality. This is a big one, and we used it today on Jaeger. He has a little, what I call a skin tag, an age spot mole thing, and it has irritated him on his inner thigh and started bleeding a lot. To stop the bleeding and help get that under control, I took a little helichrysum and coconut oil and rubbed that on there to kind of get that to stop bleeding. Helichrysum is a powerful oil for any kind of skin injury. I love the new helichrysum roller that was the limited time offer. I love to have that in my purse because if somebody has a bloody nose or a sports injury, it's great to yank that out. Digest Zen. Now Jaeger has Crohn's and colitis. This is one we use often for him. Digest Zen is a blend that has all kinds of great stuff in it, such as peppermint and ginger and caraway and coriander and tarragon and fennel. Now Digest Zen, I will use this best aromatically. So I'll put some in my hands and let him smell it, kind of cup my hands in front of his face. And then I'll take some in coconut oil and I'll rub it right here on his chest. It's enough that it gets kind of that self-diffusing, but it's also close to where his stomach is without being like on his genitals or in that area. I never really want to apply oils right to his genital area. I also am cautious, like, okay, is he gonna be licking this? Most oils, it's okay. If he licks, it's not gonna hurt him. He's licked tons of them. But, I am kind of cautious about that. So tummy stuff, I like this kind of mid-range. Jaeger, can you stand? Hey, wake up. Sit. Sit. I like to take it, and I'll just rub it right here on his soft spot. Right in here. And I'll take some and I'll go like this. There's nothing there to smell, but he's like, I'm teasing you. So, yes. Now, I got a new piece of information about Digest Zen and cats in a second here. Roman chamomile, really good for dry skin, calming. Okay, you're talking about calming and anxiousness. Roman chamomile is one of those calmers. One of the ones, there's actually 2 oils that I love best for anxious feelings. One is your balance, mixing that with serenity, great option. Another one is our new adaptive. Who has smelled adaptive? Anybody? Woo! Would you like to smell? It is incredible. This is one of my new favorite oils. When it comes to emotional stuff, this is the winner. I am in love with it. Smells like candy. Does it smell kind of candy to you? No? What does it smell like?
Like
minty. Minty? Okay. So let's talk about the ingredients. There is some in there. It's got lavender, so we're talking calming. It's got copaiba, wild orange. It's got spearmint. There's your spearmint. Magnolia, very super. It's like a lavender on steroids oil. Rosemary, great for the brain. Neroli, another flower oil, calming, great for stress. And sweet gum. This blend has been incredible. Anything you want to add about adaptive?
It's more a personal story, just when you feel that anxiety coming on and your heart racing, like just that overwhelmed feeling, I just put a drop of that in my hands, take a really deep breath, and like I forget that I was anxious. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, it is exactly like that. When there's too much going on and you're like, I'm done, the storms, okay? When I'm using oils for anxious dogs, first apply oil to yourself, okay? Your dog feeds off all your energy. Your animals feed off your energy. If you are anxious that the dog is going to be anxious, that will be a cycle, okay? It will actually feed into it. So first, apply oils to yourself. Then you can take a drop and put it on their collar if they're wearing a collar. If they're crated and they're not wearing a collar, you could make a spray and apply it to their bedding. Now, before I made that spray and applied it to their bedding, I would be doing the test. I would, do the bottle test. I would do the hand test. I would make sure that the dog wasn't freaking out. You don't want to lock your dog in a kennel with bedding sprayed with lavender or adaptive or something and they don't like it, right?
For the bottle test, did you purposely leave the cap on?
Yes.
Okay.
Because, that's a good question. That's a great question. For the bottle test, I did leave the cap on. And the reason is your cat, your dog, your horse can smell a billion jillions of times better than you. If you can smell it, it is potent to them. They can smell it through the cap. He could smell this in my pocket at the front door from in here. Their sense of smell is so great, and these oils are so powerful that I do start with the cap on because it does keep the scent less. So if he has a chance to be introduced to it without it being like, like that first time you smelled oregano and you're like, whoa, holy cow. It's to give him that moment without that freak out. When I was talking about calming, so calming, spray. So when you can make a spray the bedding, you can set the diffuser, put the diffuser in the living room, get that going, taking some and putting some on their spine, on the bottom of their paw pads in coconut oil. If your dog has a collar, you can put some drops right on the collar, do the inhale thing. Another thing is weight. Weight to a dog is very calming. We've done a lot of dog training with Jaeger, and a lot of times, you'll see those thunder shirts. They say, oh, put the shirt on. You don't have to buy some special shirt. It's just the idea that it's like enclosed and tight and pressurized. Buy a baby t-shirt if you want. But even taking something like, my friend, she has like a chain that is wrapped in fabric, so it's just a little heavier. That weight is very calming to a dog and can bring their levels down. Jaeger is not afraid of storms, but we did some pre-training when he was little that was, I guess, really effective. A lot of yawning. Oh, I'm so bored. I'm so bored. This is not stressful.
During a storm?
During a storm. When he was a puppy, every time it started to storm, we would yawn and act like it was the most boring thing in the world. And I did that during a tornado when he was 10 weeks old. While I'm taking him to the basement, while the sirens are going off, while the tornado is coming through, my husband's driving in it, and I'm yawning with a bag of dog food and a puppy, yawning, pretending I'm bored. He sensed that. He sensed the barometric pressure, my calmness, and was not afraid because of how I was feeding into him. So we have to remember, like, if your dog is having anxiety, oil's on you, then oil's on the dog, because you need to calm down and make sure you're not being keyed up, because they will read that very quickly. Dogs are very good at reading people's emotions. Lemon is very good for an internal cleaner, good for cellular health. Ones that I love for muscle issues, if you've got a sore dog, Aroma Touch, our Aroma Touch oil is fabulous. Lemongrass. My sister had aging beagles with the hips. She would massage lemongrass into the hips. Great for that. My favorite trio that I've seen the most success with is frankincense, turmeric, and copaiba, or copaiba. Those three together are really anti-inflammatory response oils, so they promote a healthy inflammatory response and can give the dogs time to bring that down. So, you're not feeding your dog Advil, which would be very bad for them. You're not feeding your dog these things with side effects, but you want that inflammation to go down. Frankincense, turmeric, copaiba. How I would best apply that, you could apply that topically. Once again, spine, area of interest, bottom of pads of paws, or in coconut oil in their food. That is a really direct way to really use those oils to their fullest, and I highly recommend that.
Frankincense, copaiba,
And turmeric. Yep. That's my trio. anyone that wants a healthy inflammatory response, I recommend taking that daily. Ryan and I take that daily as well.
Do you take it capsule form or as a roller?
So I actually use it capsule form. So originally we used to take a veggie cap and fill a drop of turmeric, copaiba, and frankincense in a little veggie cap and swallow it. doTERRA for humans has come out with the turmeric encapsulated, double encapsulated, so it's the oil and the powder. We now take this. And then the copaiba we either take in a soft gel they make it in, or we take it in our little veggie cap. I use the frankincense directly under my tongue. I feel like it gives me good brain support, good cellular support, and balances mood very quickly from under my tongue. It's all personal preference. With the dogs, you can do a veggie cap. If you're doing it on their food, so you're adding a new thing to their food. Some dogs are picky about their food. What I would recommend is to take your coconut oil, take one of the oils, mix that in, see how that goes. Add the next oil, adding them in. That way, if there's one oil that the dog is like, I'm not eating that, you can pinpoint, okay, frankincense and copaiba are up the alley. Turmeric is maybe not going to fly. You can kind of weigh that out. Jaeger prefers frankincense in his water, and he likes copaiba on his food. For bugs, our Terra Shield is incredible. I use it in the summer. I will spray him down just like I do for us. Great for fleas and ticks. I amp it up with some lemongrass and some eucalyptus. Both those oils are really good at repelling extra critters and whatnot. One of the oils that we have, so lemon eucalyptus is a certain kind of oil. There's lemon oil, there's eucalyptus oil, but lemon eucalyptus is actually a kind of eucalyptus. Lemon eucalyptus has been found by the CDC to be more effective against mosquitoes than DEET. Okay?
Mic drop.
Mic drop. Oil drop. So we now have lemon eucalyptus. I will be adding this to my Terra Shield. I think Terra Shield's still a great option, and I love it, and it works fabulous. But I love to add a little lemon eucalyptus since I know that's really killer. Also, they said lemon eucalyptus, one of the best ways you can use it in the summer, throw your diffuser out on your patio. And diffusing this is really effective at driving them away. So
Will you add the citronella as well, or is that?
I will add citronella. I will do everything. When it comes to, I don't know about the citronella. I don't have enough information to know that I'm 100% ready to use citronella or not. I need to get some more research done before I'm going to throw that in. The lemon eucalyptus I know is good, so I'm going to start there. As we get closer to summer, of course, I'll probably be doing more investigations. So, with cats, they do not metabolize essential oils like dogs, horses, or people. So we have to be a little more cautious. Myrrh is a great oil for skin in animals. It's good for them. Helichrysum, frankincense, lavender, that balance and serenity, that's super calming. On Guard, I would only use in a diffuser with cats. It's good for UTIs, urinary support. But I would only use that in a diffuser. Kidney support, I would use juniper berry. Extra seasonal threats, so another seasonal threat oil that's safe for dogs or cats is arbor-vitae or arborvitae, depending where you're from. Arborvitae is great for driving seasonal threats away and also preventing bugs. Geranium is phenomenal skin oil. I use it on my face and my moisturizer every day. It's also great for cats and dogs. Terra Shield, that bug repellent we were talking about, do not use on cats. Why? It has catnip in it. You will drive your cat crazy. So don't use Terra Shield with a cat. Now, something we do use with cats, hairballs. Okay? To prevent hairballs, you can use Terrazyme capsules for Terrazyme. And all you would do is break this capsule open and sprinkle some on their food. And that is a great hairball preventative. Also great for digestion system and stuff, but it can help break up those hairballs. Pretty interesting little tidbit. When it comes to horses, Judy is definitely an expert on this, and I've learned most of what I know from her usage with horses. Horses are basically like really big humans. When it comes to oil usage, you pretty much can use everything you would use on you on the horse. You can use deep blue. We don't use deep blue on dogs or cats. You can use Melaleuca. Kind of stay away from Melaleuca on cats and dogs, typically. But with horses, they're like big humans. And Judy may share a few recipes here at the end. As far as oils to avoid, I know that's like a big question that everybody always asks. The oils that we're going to avoid, I'm going to say the list I'm going to give you is like on the extreme caution side. Like I'm like being very precarious, very overly helicopter mom, okay? I know many, many people that have used some of these oils very, very effectively, very, very safely with their animals and had no problems. But I err on the extreme caution. So for dogs, topically and internally, no birch. That is in your deep blue. No Melaleuca. That one is a fine line that I've occasionally crossed myself, but that's on the error of extreme caution. And wintergreen. Wintergreen is an oil we have. It's also in your deep blue. I do use caution with any hot oils, and hot oils are ones that when we use them, we always dilute, no matter what, on whoever it is. But cassia, cinnamon, clove, oregano, rosemary, thyme. I like to use caution because remember, those really powerful oils, if they're powerful to you, they're even more powerful to an animal. For cats, topically and internally, we kind of stay away from basil, bergamot, birch, cinnamon, clove, dill, fennel, grapefruit, citruses, so your lemon, your limes, all those grapefruit, lemon, lime, citrus oils, wild orange, Melaleuca, oregano, peppermint, spearmint, they don't like the mints, thyme, rosemary, wintergreen. I have a friend who actually has cats and uses a diffuser under her Christmas tree, and she diffuses citrus oils so the cats stay away from the Christmas tree. I would never put, you can use citrus oils. Now, when you have a cat, you can diffuse everything, remember? They just have to be able to move away, all right? If you are diffusing next to their litter box, don't diffuse citrus oils. You don't want to drive them away from where they need to be, right? So it's okay if you want to drive them away from the Christmas tree, but don't intentionally spray their litter box or have a diffuser going next to their litter box with citrus oils or those oils that they aren't liking. As far as recipes, I've got a ton of them. My favorite shampoo is Jaeger's shampoo that's on our sheet. It's simply 2 cups of water, a half a cup of Castile soap, and then 2 drops of cedarwood, 2 drops of lavender. You shake it up, you pour some on, you rub it in. The cool part about this soap is it's very cleansing. It really cleans him well. It rinses out very fast. If you ever had a wet dog that's just about ready to shake all over the room, you know how it is? You want to get rinsed out quickly. I love that soap because it rinses out very quickly and it makes his his fur, his coat very shiny, very soft, very smooth. And I really love that one. I do avoid getting it in the ears or eyes. As far as anxiety, barking, diffusing lavender, serenity, balance, using those on the collar and the spray. Excuse me.
While you're doing that, I'll give you a break. So I just looked up citronella.
Oh, thank you.
And citronella, hi everyone. Citronella is good for fleas, actually. So you can use it as part of a flea and tick spray.
So we can use it in the summer.
And it does say, just like you said, get your pet before you make the spray. Get them used to the smell of it before you spray it on them. So it says diffuse it first and then use it in the spray.
You want to do that introduction first, right? Because if once it's on them, it's on them. And you can't really do a lot. Okay. Sorry about that. you can use oils for hot spot remedies. Those frankincense, that myrrh, helichrysum, those are really super healing to skin. Any questions?
If you rub,
I'm sorry.
The oils on the paws, do you like it in the paws or just on the base of the paws?
What did you say?
Frankincense. Oh, too much talking. Sorry, guys. I would do on the pads of the paws.
Yeah, not like in.
Not. It doesn't have to be like inside.
Okay.
You can put it inside, but I would just do on the actual pads. What question? There's somebody had a support that I missed. What was your dog's issue?
He has heart problems.
Heart.
Mhm.
Okay, so to support the heart, first thing I would do is frankincense, right?
Okay.
Cellular health. That would be go frankincense.
Would you
Turmeric.
rub it on the chest? Food.
I put it in the food. Is my first draw, or on the chest, or on the paw pads. Turmeric. Turmeric is great for blood support. So it's great for healthy blood pressure, healthy blood sugars, healthy liver, healthy kidneys. So I would say that's another good option since it's a good blood support oil using turmeric.
Okay.
And using turmeric, if I'm using turmeric, I would throw a little lavender with it. Otherwise, your dog might smell a little bit like it's at a campfire. You know, it's my campfire
What
oil.
about the omega capsules?
The omega capsules, I do know people that have used those with their dogs. I don't know about with cats, but we can get some more information. Now, I'm going to tell you a couple more resources. Did I miss something? What else did I miss? Does your dog have
Allergies?
Allergies. So the lemon, lavender, peppermint, frankincense, arborvitae. Those would be my first picks. Doing those paw pads, doing it. The arborvitae I wouldn't use internally, but on your food. Lemon, lavender, peppermint. I've seen miracles happen after a medication that was given that was highly allergic to a person. Big welts, itchy hives all over the body. Was given Benadryl. Was given an amped up Benadryl in the hospital. Nothing was cutting it. We took lemon, lavender, peppermint, bottom of the feet, some in a small glass of water, and within 5 minutes, all the welts were gone. The doctor stood there and said, "Where were you 2 hours ago?" But it's highly powerful, and you can do it as a preventative. So if you know your dog has issues with grass or leaves or a set time of year, you can do that as a preventative measure. Do it once in the morning or once in the morning, once in the evening, and do that. Now, smaller dogs, obviously, less amounts. You could even make up. I love when you're doing bigger dilution rates, more coconut oil versus oils. I love to make up a dropper bottle and literally be able to make the mixture with the ratios and then just take a few drops of that mixture instead of having to make it every time. That's one thing I like to do for sure.
I'm sorry.
If I was making a mixture, let's say for lemon, lavender, and peppermint for a dog that was small, 14-pound dog, I'm putting 1 drop per teaspoon. So if I have 3 teaspoons and 3 drops of oil, right, and instead of doing that every day and trying to figure out so the dog gets a lemon and a lavender and peppermint and not so much coconut oil, I would take 3 teaspoons, which is 3 teaspoons a tablespoon. I don't know.
Sure.
My mom knows that stuff. I'm not going to tell you. I really don't. But I have a chart that tells me. So I would multiply those 3 teaspoons, make it up, and then I do 2 drops of pepper, whatever the ratio is, and make it in a dropper bottle, mix it around, and then I could just take drop, drop, drop on the food versus having to make that mixture in the teaspoons and the measuring every day. I know, hey, put 2 or 3 drops on the food each morning. Keep it simple.
I know kennel cough is a big one that dogs deal with. And a friend of mine, she had just left an oil class. She had no oils except the wild orange that she left with. And so that's what I told her to put on the paws. And she said it was the fastest she's ever seen her dog get over kennel cough.
So can you come out and say that again one more time for
Yeah.
kennel cough?
Yeah, so my friend Denise Sides, this is her first experience with oils. She had left a class, so she hadn't gotten her kit yet. So all she had was a little bottle of wild orange, and her dog had just come home from the kennel. And she said normally kennel cough will last at least a week. It keeps everyone in the house up. You obviously know the dog is really uncomfortable. And so I told her just take a drop like in the palm of your hand with the coconut oil and just rub that on the back of his paws. And she did that once at night and couldn't believe how quickly he calmed down. And then it was back a little the next morning, so she did it again and did it one more time that night, and it was gone within a day. So
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good tip. Now, you probably heard me say for cats, no fennel, no peppermint, no spearmint. I will say there is a resource, and she's really, really good. Her name's Dr. Janet Rourke. She's a veterinarian on doTERRA's Veterinary Advisory Board. We actually have a panel of veterinarians that actually do research and work with animals and advise doTERRA on animal usage. Now, Janet Rourke has a Facebook page. It's the Essential Oil Vet Janet Rourke on Facebook. Fabulous to follow. My friend Kellyanne actually just enrolled in one of her cats classes. Kellyanne has a lot of cats, and she has very specific protocols that she's been sharing. There is a charge for her private classes. I want to say it's fairly minimal, but on that cats class Kellyanne has been taking this morning, Digest Zen is actually one that Janet uses with her cats. Now there is peppermint in there, there is fennel, it's a small amount, but she actually does use that by rubbing that on the abdomen before car trips, so for car sickness, or changing food for an upset stomach, applies it to the belly for gas or bloating, and also, yes, for hairballs again. So when I said erring on the extreme caution, that was like so much caution. And the more education, the more research that's done, the more information we get. So that's something brand new to me. I'm always learning.
Was that?
Digest Zen. It's one of the ones that I use a lot for Jaeger, but I had always thought maybe staying away from cats, for cats with the peppermint and the fennel. So that was a good tip. Copaiba, once again, safe for cats, safe for dogs, safe for horses. Judy, do you want to share anything?
I can. Apparently I'm the only horse person in here, but I had experience about 7 years ago. Our horse got extremely sick with a bacterial infection that they have guttural pouches up their face, and it was up in that, and the vet flushed it out. I mean, it was just the most gross thing I've ever seen or smelled in my life. He flushed it, he put antibiotics up there, put him on a round of antibiotics, didn't clear it up, came back, did the whole thing again, another round of antibiotics, didn't clear it up. In the meantime, he moved. I trailered him to a clinic over in Delavan area, Darien area, Murray Wad, was an extension of UW. They did the same exact thing, flushed it again, antibiotics up there, another round of antibiotics. At that point, the horse said, I'm done. I'm not taking any more antibiotics. I thought, well, we're going to lose him. I didn't know what else to do. Happened to listen to Dr. Oz, the only time I've ever heard that show in my life, and he recommended oil of oregano for a bacterial infection. And I thought, I've got nothing to lose. He's going to die if I don't do something. I got some oil of oregano, started putting it in his feet a little at a time. Got him up to, if you've ever tried oil of oregano, that stuff is just extremely powerful. I put a drop in a glass of orange juice one day and could barely gag it down. I had him up to a full eyedropper of oil of oregano once a day in his feed, and he ate it. We cleared up that infection.
Wow.
It took a little bit, but he ate it every time I gave it to him, and that stuff is so strong. We cleared that up. I had him for another 7 years. We lost him. He was 35 and a half. His cancer had eaten through his esophagus, and he was aspiration pneumonia, and we lost him. But I had him for another 7 years. We had a pony. She has Cushing's, which is a metabolic insulin resistance type thing, where she doesn't shed out. She will founder. If anybody knows what founder is, they can't hardly walk. Their feet get so sore and so tender. Last winter, we could barely get her in the barn. She was so stiff and so sore, and I thought we were going to lose her. I thought, you know what? I'm either going to put her down or I'm going to try something. I put her on copaiba, turmeric, and frankincense, and peppermint. That's what my old horse was on, because I knew he had cancer. That's what got him through another 7 years too, was those 4 different oils. I put her on that, completely turned her around, changed the metabolism in her. She's still on the medication from the vet, but I no longer, all summer long, I have never seen her take a hard step. The farrier even said this is the first time I've ever trimmed her that she wasn't so sore. I had a hard time working with her. She can trot down the hallway now like nobody's business. I've seen her trot away from me, trying to get away from me, which she could barely walk before. So those 4 oils have changed her metabolism so that she's not having those problems anymore. So, do they work? Yeah, they really do. My 14-year-old Sheltie, I noticed was having, I could just ramble on and on, I'm sorry, Petrea.
Share away.
Yeah.
My 14-year-old Sheltie, who's been just phenomenal, you wouldn't know she was 14 at all. I noticed that she was starting to have a little bit of trouble, just a little bit getting up, a little slow. I put her on turmeric and copaiba. I didn't add frankincense because she's a little fussy eater. She ate all of those. She runs across the backyard now with my 4-year-old like nobody's business.
Wow.
So I am totally sold on that for us and for them.
Totally. Thank you for sharing. I know that was very
It's only been 2
emotional.
weeks.
It's only
ago
been
that
2
we
weeks
lost
since
him.
she lost her horse, so
We had to put him down.
it's still
Well,
yes. Well, when you love your animals, we want to take care of them all we can. I hope this information was helpful. Is there any other questions before we kind of wrap things up?
Yes. What would you do for someone that just got a brand new rescue dog that is eating everything?
Okay. First of all, I would tie the dog. Tying your dog to a secure place where they cannot get into trouble. They can't get a hold of a furniture leg. They can't get a hold of a shoe they're not supposed to have. Making it safe and nothing they can chew, and praising them. Oh, good, you're such a good dog. You're not chewing anything. Well, there's nothing to chew, lady. Yeah, but that dog earns that praise. Tying the dog, especially when you're trying to establish boundaries with a new rescue dog, is a very safe and effective way without losing all your shoes and all of the dangers of them eating things and having impactions that can be dangerous for them. So I think that tying the dog is my number 1 recommendation. The other thing would be to use some adaptive. This is a really emotional thing when a dog is rehomed. They've lost a certain environment. They're in a new environment. It's scary. I can only imagine what it would be like if that was us. I mean, obviously, it would be just as scary for us and even more scary because you have to remember dogs don't speak English. So when you're talking to them and having a conversation, they don't know all the things you're saying. They know certain words like egg. Yeah, he knows that word, egg, yeah. But they don't speak the same language, so it's very scary. Using your calming oils, Serenity, Balance, and Adaptive, Wild Orange, Frankincense, those would be my top picks in the diffuser. You want to have them have a good experience.
Okay.
Is that helpful?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I was trying to watch the Janet Rourke on
Oh, yes.
convention.
Yes, she's awesome.
And my knee doesn't work.
She's got lots of information. There's books out there on aromatools.com. I'll be happy to share the resources and the recipes that I have with you guys. If anyone out there is watching and needs essential oils for yourself or for your pets, please reach out to your doTERRA person. They'll be happy to get you set up and get you started with things that you need to support everybody in your life, all those you love. So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Good job, Petrea.